So I recently wanted to read some new mangas or like comics, I guess. And so of course I went to a old reliable manga dex, home to thousands of niche mangas that are actually pretty interesting to some genuinely god awful stories. But like the series today is different. It's like nothing I have ever read before. If you're curious, by the way, it's called I Am My Wife. I only got wind of this treasure because I saw an Instagram reel about it. So I mean, there's that. It interested me enough to like look into the creator of this masterpiece. Their name is uh Luan Shi Yin Nyang. I was curious if they had any other works, and none. Also, there's one review on I Am My Wife, and so it kind of goes like this. This manhwa made me lose it. If you're an aspiring writer, you could learn from this and avoid the same mistakes. Nice. But anyways, besides all this background information, sit down because we're about to read the story. And Chapter 1 begins with our protagonist UQ, who works a basic office job and is currently attending his high school crush's wedding. Now, like, first notice, this is a high school crush. For context, this takes place around 10 years after high school. So this guy's a genuine chud.
I'm such a fat fucking chud.
Soon she walks in with her soon-to-be husband, and he's like watching this all super sad, and he suddenly becomes a philosopher. As he says, memories are all that's left. The past is dead. Nobody's quoting him, by the way. This angle of him staring up is something, I guess. Anyways, it cuts to him sitting down on a bench, chugging on a bottle of alcohol. The depressed dating gay to confess to the girl of his dreams 10 years ago. So there's that. Anyways, as he's glooming and all sad and yeah, he falls asleep. He someone falls asleep on that bench. Okay, he wakes up. And it's raining, and you know, I just don't get how long he was asleep for it just to suddenly rain. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. I'm not good with science. Also, there was like a bunch of trash around him, and like in the next frame, it's just all gone. These backgrounds do not make sense. So now that it's raining and he woke up, he realizes he has to get home, or you know, he's gonna get sick, and he doesn't want to ruin his fantastic suit. So as he's running home. Also, did you notice he's not even wearing socks? Like, what a freak, bro. He gets ready to go home, but suddenly a massive strike of lightning like just comes down and like destroys this bench. And if that's not a hint for him to like get out of there now, he literally gets hit by an even bigger bolt of lightning, which I don't think he lived this. He wakes up facing a shopping district busy and full of life, despite him saying that it was gonna get demolished. So he's obviously confused, but we know there's bigger fish to fry. As it zooms out and he's questioning himself, he's turned into a woman. Confused, he walks up to this knockoff Build-A-Bear.
If you're not wearing that skin-tight red dress when I pick you up tonight, we're gonna
I have a big problem, young lady.
It's called Little Bear instead, and I just don't know how to explain that he looks like a kid. This looks like a kid. He sees himself in the reflection of the window of the shop, confused as to who this girl is. But like, man, this face, like I can't tell if he's cross-eyed or like this is on purpose. But the realization finally kicks in, and he realizes he's a girl now. And the conveniently placed clock, if you didn't notice, which was like right there of the time and date, shows that he's 10 years in the past. It slowly fades out as he's confused as to what in the world is happening. Chapter 2 begins with UQ confused because now he just realizes he's a girl. He doesn't know what to do now. So as he's pondering his existence, some random red-haired lady, hot pink, I don't know, and she calls out to him, calling him Win-Win. So look how lifeless her eyes are.
Fucking hypnotize me, get away from me!
Every character design has zero will to live in this 2D world, and it shows. His new mom suspects he's acting weird and just decides to take him back home because she believed he was like tired. Also, you cannot convince me that these two panels are not the same. They genuinely grab this asset and they just put it back on this panel. Anyways, he gets driven back to his supposed home, and his supposed home is literally in the middle of nowhere. And I mean, look at those fucking trees, man. Jesus, this house is literally out of a Disney movie. He's got maids and even a butler. In this panel, man, they just did it again. They literally have this exact model in their files because there's no way this just happens 3 times. Anyways, a little bit before that, he states that this house never existed there 10 years ago. So this could be some sort of parallel universe where he just happens to be a girl. Chapter 3 begins with him in his room staring at his reflection with the only piece of furniture he has in that room. Is this what it feels to be rich? Like, his room is genuinely so empty. Anyways, he peeks into his closet, and suddenly his maid barges into the room, and she tells him tomorrow would be his first day at school. Yuki doesn't even acknowledge her. He immediately goes to slam the door on her, though his maid stops him from closing the door. I'm not even sure what Yuki's even doing here? He's clutching nothing here. Also, look at the face this maid does. And then she asked in the most menacing way possible if she could help Yuki change. And then he starts fantasizing about it. Oh yeah, also he's drooling. Anyways, Yuki rejects her offer of changing, and instead of leaving the maid, she grabs him. She then leaves after, and then after that he's like, wow, this went
Sure had a
Great relationship.
with her mates. Anyways, Yuki gets curious about the new school he's going to and makes the most shocking discovery that he was transferred to his old school from his previous life. I need water.
Bro, this shit creepy as hell, bro. Remind me of them little gold men that be pretending, then they start moving and shit. Oh no, he a statue. He ain't no.
Chapter 4 begins with Yuki being driven to Wendling Academy. Yuki gets escorted to his class by his mom, and he just happens to land in his original class as well. What a coincidence. As he walks in, he introduces himself to the class, quickly spots someone familiar in his class. It was his crush. It's the same crush that he watched get married, and wow, she looks really, really high. His new teacher asks the class who would like to be Yuki's desk mate, but for some reason she picks on this poor guy to move. As the poor guy has to leave his seat, Yuki glances over at the open seat and realizes that he has to sit with himself. Is this a Yaoi self-love thing? Also, I'm gonna refer to our original Yukio as Wenye now because it's gonna get confusing if I call both of them Yukio. During recess, this group of friends are chatting in the class, and they notice that Wenye is glancing over at them. But Yukio pulls this weird face. This group of friends all get jealous because it's only been literally a day and he already knows her name. Anyways, he continues staring because I guess the nostalgia kind of hits him. I mean, it's 10 years in the past, and this fat guy walks up to him and asks Wenye, like, what are you looking at? And he's like, at you, of course. And he's like super happy because he thinks someone's he's genuinely getting complimented. Wenye essentially calls him fat. Chapter 6 begins with for some reason, gym class. So Lu Yu and Jing Jing team up to run with each other, but Jing Jing also reaches out to Wenye and they ask him if he wants to run with them, and he's kind of staring at Jing Jing because he is fangirling over her. I'm not sure what she's looking at here. I'm saying that she's actually high. Anyways, they begin running, and while jogging, the same group of guys from the last chapter start hitting on them. If this even counts, this is just mostly catcalling. They hit on Lu Yu, and her brother's genuinely hearing all this, and he does nothing about this. I mean, look at what this guy says, bro. And he does nothing to stop this. Yu suddenly calls out to Wenye, hitting this dumbass pose, and says the cheesiest pickup line ever possible. Wenye is genuinely stunned by this, not remembering being so confident, but also being horrible at talking to girls. They continue to run, and Jinjin finishes first, with Wenye right behind her. But suddenly, Wenye just trips. I'm assuming he twisted his ankle, but the panel just shows nothing to back this up. Also, the worst part about Wenye falling is that he happens to just be falling out with his hand right in front of him. And so with such a coincidence, he just happens to land on top of Jing Jing, and his hand is on her, you know. And if it couldn't get worse than that, he literally squeezes them! Anyways, Wenye finally gets off of Jing Jing, and they're both getting helped up by the local pervert, aka the PE teacher. He runs over to Wenye to help him up, but instead he pussies out, and in the same he lets this 50-year-old man help her up instead of him. And also the shot of him is so incredibly ugly. So Wenye and Jing Jing are both sitting together after yeah. Wenye tries to apologize for what he did, and Jing Jing doesn't really get what he means, and she literally says, "Oh, don't worry about that, it's just a scratch." Her name is Yuki is watching from a distance, and he gets this sense of familiar. He gets this feeling of familiarity from Wenye, and he feels this sense of connection, he's been close to her all his life. Also, he says that she's really cute. And that's where chapter 10 ends, and I'm planning on doing a part 2 to this, as these first 10 chapters are barely scratching the surface of how bizarre this story is. Regardless, just know that Lon Shi Yin Yang might have made something special here, and don't judge a book by its cover. You probably should for this one.